much.
Well, Mervyn, as you know, that we're talking about the whole thing about business and the power of the mind, and one of the things we're trying to encourage now is that how can we start encourage people to start take themselves seriously in terms of business. I mean, in life in general, because one of the things is, as you make it quite clear, we have to be focused, and what you find that we're not really as focused as we should be. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know you do a lot of work in the whole thing about the focus in the mind and the brain, etc. And also we do have Sister Brenda. We're talking about health a little bit very shortly, and she's got business as well, and obviously she's very focused, So I want you to share with us, how can one be more focused and more disciplined and start taking themselves to another level, because you see, it's not about money, because if your money is still messed up and discipline, money, some people say that, they need money to take to another level and so forth. Well, it's true, but if your mind is still messed up, you're not going nowhere anyway, you see. So I want you to share with us, because I know you've done a lot of work in that particular area, a lot of research. I know you're someone who reads so much books, but not you read books, but you apply it, and also you understand your thing how the brain works. But just share with us the thing about focus, and also the Brenda inside the house as well. Go on.
Yes. Thank you very much. Just a couple of things, really. One thing that you mentioned there, and I will just reiterate that the power isn't in the mind. The power is in the action that you take, that you create in your mind.
Well, I said that again. That's powerful. Say that again. The power is in the action you take, not in the mind.
That's right. It doesn't matter how powerful your mind is. It's just the same as having a load of money.
Yeah.
Like you said, if the mind is not right, the money goes. It's easy come, easy goes.
Yeah.
I read a story in the paper the other day of a woman in America who won the Powerball lotto. I don't know how many millions she won, but I do know she spent $21 million bailing out her boyfriend, who's been in prison for drugs-related issues 3 times. It's not the money.
Yeah.
You've got £21 million to give to somebody, and they're still behaving the way they're behaving. It's not the money, it's the mind.
It's the mind, yeah.
It's how the mind is being used. In fact, I go further than that and say that the mind is using the human instead of the human using the mind.
Yeah.
The mind, like a brain, is a tool. Now, if you don't use your tools effectively, or if you're using your tools inappropriately, it's not going to work.
Right.
So, as a consequence, your life doesn't work. And people themselves twist up in knots of anxiety and stress, and kind of look to blame it on this person or that person or these circumstances, when everything is generated from within. All of our fears, all of our worries, all of our phobias, all of our joy, our love is generated from within. There are so many of us who are walking around almost in, I'd say, daze, because of how they're thinking, and in fact, how they're not thinking. So working on the mind is really important. I'd say in business, as you just said as well, Dougie, in life, you've got to have a mind that wants to make progress. So some of the things, here's some quick tools that people can do. The first thing is you have to recognize, and I've put this out on my my YouTube channel, I call it Think, Speak, Right. Think, Speak, Right. TSW. Whenever you've got an issue that you're facing, one of the things you want to do first of all is think about it.
Right.
And when I say think about it, you've got to really think constantly, persistently, consistently, with emotional intensity about that thing that is in your head. You've got to think first of all. Right. Once you've gone past the thinking stage, the next stage is the speaking stage. Most people just stay in their heads, so they walk around all day without speaking. But the power of being a human being is that when we when we speak about that which we're thinking of, we see it differently. We see it bigger. We even can see it better. We can actually see it worse. So you need to be careful with whom you speak about what it is that's on your heart. When you get yourself a decent coach or a decent counselor or a decent friend, when you start speaking about what's on your heart, that which you're thinking of, you start to see it more efficiently, more effectively. And then the next thing to do is to write about it. And this works even if you're really upset. Get it out on paper. Our minds think at thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts per second. That's the way the brain works. The connections are just phenomenally quick. We can't keep up with it. When we speak those things that we're thinking of, we start to slow it down. Now, when you slow down your thought process, you slow down the connections, then you get time to stop and say, actually, that isn't a proper connection. What I'm linking A to B, and I could actually go from A straight to C. Now, if you're not speaking it, you don't get that opportunity to work on yourself in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you write it, you slow down your thought process even further. You slow down the speech even further, because writing, by nature, is a slow process.
Right.
It allows you to really get in and go deep on what it is that you're saying about yourself, about the situation, about your circumstances. You can put yourself in an extremely powerful position by thinking, speaking, and writing.
Oh, okay.
That's one thing.
Okay, then. That's quite powerful. We get to say there.
Think, speak, write. The other thing, Dougie, that is really, really important as well, just to recognise that anything that you're working on takes effort, time, and practice. ETP, effort, time, practice. In other words, you've got to put in a certain amount of effort. It has to be genuine. It has to be real, authentic. You can't say, well, I am trying. You know you're not trying. Here's what I know about every single human being in the world. Nobody knows you better than you. Outside of the Creator, nobody knows you better than you. You know exactly what to say to yourself to keep you depressed, to get yourself happy, to motivate yourself to get out of bed in the morning, to motivate yourself to say, well, I'm not going to do that. I don't like that person, or I do like that person. You know exactly what it takes for you to do what you do. What we tend not to do, though, is be genuine about that. So we end up hiding away from our true self, which is where the source of power lies. So you've got to be genuine about the effort. Then you've got to put time in. Time is so important. Most people think that it's going to happen in an instant. Because of the way we think, remember what I said about the thoughts that generated at millions and millions and millions of thoughts per second, we make connections like that. We actually think that when that time moves like that for us, and it doesn't. We have to recognise that it takes time. And the analogy that I use is like a plant. If you have a tiny little seed and you put it in the ground, you never see the shoot going straight up. What happens every time, first of all? The root must go down into the earth.
Right.
By nature, that takes effort.
Right.
It's got to go deep. Notice when the shoot now starts to come up, it doesn't matter whether it's a grain of wheat or it's an oak tree, whatever it is, once it goes above the surface, there's no resistance. You've got to lay the foundation. So I say you've got to put time in. You've also got to give it time. Allowing allowing the roots to take roots, to grow, to go deep, is giving it time. Putting time in is actually putting effort into the work that you're doing. And then the final part of this is then practice, and practice is everything. Again, just as we make connections in our head, in our brains, through continuous thoughts, the same thing happens in our bodies. When we practice something, we literally wire it in, not just to our brain, also into our body.
Okay, then.
And once you've done that, you're in a really powerful position. So effort, time, practice.
Okay, then. I've got Sister Brenda inside the house. She's going to ask a question as well. But it's interesting you said that how you wire it into your body. I mean, when you say wire into your body, is it a question feeling it? Or what do you mean? Just explain what you mean wire into your body, because that's quite interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Notice, by the way,
Yeah.
I haven't really spoken about the business mindset.
Yeah.
And I do want to touch on that very briefly, but I think it's really important that you just get the idea that you, me, we are in control of the way we think, the way we feel, our emotions, our memories, our perceptions, our perspectives. We are in control of those things. When we don't realize that, then they're in control of us.
Yes.
And that is when we start to find ourselves going all over the shop. That's when you keep taking the drugs and you know you should be taking it. You know you don't want to take it, but you keep taking it. Or you know you want to go after that job. You can't even get out of your bed in the morning. It's all about the way we think, feel, the way we emote. So specifically then, we wire into our bodies exactly what we feel. So for example, you have a thought. And incidentally, every single thought that we have, and we have around about 20,000 a day. I want you to let that sink in. We have around about 20,000 thoughts a day.
20,000 thoughts a day.
20,000. That's what I mean. We can't keep up with it. We can't possibly keep up with that. Now, the point that I'm making is that every single thought has a corresponding feeling and a corresponding emotion. When you hear somebody saying, "Nah, man, I'm not feeling it," that doesn't mean they don't have the emotion of it. They're angry, but they've suppressed the feeling.
Right.
They're disconnecting from the feeling, which of course makes it very easy for you to blow somebody up, stay in your bed when you want to get up, tell your partner that you don't like them anymore, don't love them anymore, or even say, "You know what, this business, man, it's just not for me, it's not working," and make all sorts of excuses around it instead of actually analysing the way we feel.
So let's get down to this thing. So it's about the way one feel, really.
Listen, when you were a tiny little baby, you don't remember this, but if you've ever seen a tiny little baby, when that baby is first born, does that baby wake up and say, "Oh, you know what? It's a really nice day today. I think I'd like some breast milk," and then belch me, and then change me because I'm dirty, and then put me to sleep? The baby doesn't do that. The baby doesn't have any cognitive ability that would allow them to be able to intellectualize what it is that they're feeling. All they have is feeling. And typically, when the baby comes out of the womb, the first thing it does is cry. That's an emotion. That's a feeling. So for the first 6 months, 18 months of our lives, we really are feeling human beings. The thinking, the rationalizing, the cognitive part develops later. In fact, I read some research the other day that the cognitive ability isn't completely mature until an adult reaches 25, 26 years of age.
Right.
25 to 26. So yes, feeling is how we communicate. One of the issues with feeling is that we don't actually have any words to describe feelings adequately.
Right.
I might say I'm scared, but what I mean by scared and what you might mean by scared are completely different. Now, because of that, we have conflict. Because the way I feel, if I'm not careful, and most people are like this, the way I feel dictates how I behave. And it's almost like I feel that I'm the centre, because when we were babies we were the centre of our world. I feel I'm the centre of my world. So when I say I'm scared and you say to me, "What are you scared of?" and you say it's slightly different tone, I take on the point and the view that you're being you can't see what I see, and then I start attacking you. For example, the point I'm making is that we live so much in a bubble of who we think we are, that when somebody even offers a suggestion of anything contrary to that, it runs against us. Unless you're prepared to be present, be fully conscious and aware of how you are feeling, then it's likely that when somebody offers you a helping hand or an opinion, or even if somebody, particularly in fact, if somebody is being a bit objectionable to you, you're going to react, not respond, react.
Okay. Well, Sister Brenda inside the house. Sister Brenda, you want to ask a question?
Go ahead, my brother.
The sister inside the house, Sister Brenda.
Hey, good afternoon, sister.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
Yes, speak, Brenda.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, okay. Greetings, good afternoon. It's Sister Brenda here. Greetings, good afternoon to the listeners. For those of you who don't know me, not aware of me, I'm a health advocate, a nutritional and well-being consultant. It is not so much to ask you a question. I agree with everything you're saying. I just want to add or contribute, if that is all right.
Oh, please do.
When you're talking about the mind, interestingly enough, I was on another radio station yesterday, and that was touched upon indirectly because I was talking about where science meets ancient traditions, and science has been divorced from spirituality. So I was giving some examples and how some scientists have left traditional or materialistic science when they realize that science and spirituality is one. And what I would like to add is the power of belief. What one holds true. Yeah? There is a book by Dr. Bruce Lipton called The Biology of Belief. But in relation to the belief on what one holds true, it is belief in oneself. So that is in relation to the power of the mind. And many of us have or still have a whole array of fears which holds us back, like envy and fear of so many things. And I can relate to so many of, especially in relation to me and the past, the fear factor, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of what people might say, that one or might not be able to answer a question, etc., etc. So the example I gave is a lovely gentleman by the name of Dr. David Hamilton. Oh, right. I did hear some interference. Yeah?
Hey, Brother Dougie?
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, the line dropped there. I don't know what happened.
Okay, no problem. We've got you now. Okay.
Yeah. So, as an example, I'd like to mention Dr. David Hamilton, who's he's a chemist. Now he's in the field of mind, body, spirit, or what some would call New Age. There seems to be a shift taking place in terms of global consciousness or awareness, where science and spirituality are slowly coming back, being as one. Anyway, he worked for a company called AstraZeneca, whereby it was his role to create building blocks, as in synthetic analogues for drugs. And what he noticed when before drugs come out, there were drugs trials, and you have your subjects where they're testing a drug and they're testing a dummy pill, which they call the control. But what he noticed, those who thought that they were using or taking the particular drug, but they wasn't, they got better. They got healed. And this is where the power of the mind comes in. The power of belief comes in. And you know what happened? He saw so much of that he left this renowned drug company, AstraZeneca. He's written several books on how you can heal your mind, how you can heal yourself, the power of the mind, etc., etc. And now he does tours, Dr. David Hamilton. So that is what I wanted to contribute. I could say more, but this is more about what you're sharing with us. And I give thanks. Thank you.
Well, Sister Brenda, it was Brenda, right?
Yes, speaking.
Sister Brenda, really, really powerful points that you make there. It's the placebo effect
Yeah.
that scientists tend to call it.
Yeah.
And the pharmaceutical industry in general doesn't research it. They're not interested because that'll put them out of business.
Of course.
So that's well, I mean that's the discussion for another day. But the point that you make is absolutely valid. That we have the ability to do so much more than we give ourselves credit for.
Yes.
We've lulled ourselves into a place and space in this world now where we depend and rely on the state or the status quo for everything. How to feel, how to think, what to eat, when to work. Our worth, self-worth as human beings is tied up in almost like a nebulous status quo.
Yes, I agree.
Constrained.
We are. Sorry.
If you want to go into sorry, Sister Brenda. If you want to go into business and you're not aware of all those forces, external forces that are pushing and pulling and shoving and competing for your time, for your attention, you're going to find yourself not making it in that business. Well, I'm telling you, I was on a call last night with a couple of business leaders, and the question of mindset came up. I, in fact, asked the question, how important is mindset in business? And this particular leader said, mindset is everything. He went further and said, if you're not developing your mind, your business will not grow. It's likely to fail. Most businesses are run at a mediocre level. They're not run at a super high level of effectiveness and efficiently. In other words, they're turning money over. They're not generating profit.
Right.
To generate profit, you've got to grow. And what most people don't recognize is that the growth must come from within first. If you're going to think the same old thoughts in the same old way, you're going to get the same old results. Albert Einstein, I think, said something along the lines of, it's a definition of insanity to keep thinking the same way and expecting a different result. So the mind and the power of the mind, the action that you must take to empower yourself is all about taking yourself on. Stop getting caught up in what the world is saying. Start getting caught up. Start being interested in why you feel the way you feel, why you think the way you think. Start questioning yourself and look around for decent individuals who form a club with some people. I can't impress upon you enough the importance of joining organizations that are looking to move forward, make progress. You want to start a business, I don't care what the business is, find some people who are doing it and meet up with them. Get you a coach. Go online. Find out what there is out there that will stretch your mind. Our outer realm, the things that we want in our life, will never, ever exceed what's within, in our inner realm. So if in your inner realm, you're playing a small game, you're hoping to make a few quid, well, that's what you're going to get in your outer realm. If in your inner world, in your inner realm, if you're playing a huge game, you're going to expand your outer realm accordingly.
Right.
What I would say to as a qualifier is that recognize it takes effort, time, and practice. Effort, time, and practice. The number of people who, specifically, I speak to people, my clients, some of my clients come to me and they're literally in their job. They've been there for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. They want to make some extra money. I said, well, what have you done? Well, nothing really. Have you tried working harder in your job? Yeah, but it didn't work. Have you tried to get promotion? Yeah, but it didn't work. Have you tried to leave your job and get it? Yeah, but it didn't work. And so when it didn't work, what did you do then? Nothing. So here's what happens. Do you think when a plant is growing, when that root is digging down, if there's something blocking it, does the plant say, well, I'm not going to go there, it's not going to work, I'll just stop now? It carries on. It continues to grow. Anthony Robbins says, if you're not growing, you're dying. Everything on the earth is like that. What we do not recognize is the importance of growth in our lives, in our personal lives. That's why I deal with personal development. That's why I say success is an inside-out game.
Sorry, Mervyn.
Inside out.
I just want to see if I could jump in here because just to bounce in with you, 'cause I just talk about the mind, right, earlier on, and just to run on everything you're saying. Everything you're saying, you're really on point, and also what Brenda's saying as well, you know, in terms of our beliefs and etc. But it's interesting as you talk about the mind, and from my little research and observation, and even my own self, that your mind is like it's almost like a video recorder, right? What it does, right, it creates images of things in the past, right? And with the image in the past, it creates that kind of feeling, yeah? And that's why it's very important to, you know, to monitor your mind. I mean, for example, right? Take something like a horror movie, right? And everyone can identify what I'm saying here, right? Even though it's not real, you get frightened.
Yep.
That shows how vulnerable the mind is, right? And that's why it's very important, like I said, right, to feed your mind with positive images, positive information all the time. You know, someone asked a question about Dracula. Do I believe in Dracula? Right? I said, I do. There are some people who are damn right. Dracula, don't judge them. Just keep away from them. You see what I'm saying? You know, I mean, the mind is incredible. I mean, for example, you have some man, right, who want to look like woman, right? Right? They talk like woman, dress like woman, and walk like, in fact, look better than a woman out the road, you know what I mean? Right? But everything starts in the mind first. You see?
Yes.
So it just shows you that, you know, we need to guide our mind all the time. Because you look at those people, an example we gave, right? Look at those who won the lottery, right? Yes. And you know, as a fact, after about 5 years, those same individuals are broke again.
There was a case recently, Dougie.
Yeah.
The guy won it in 2002, £15 million or something like that on the Euro Millions. When he collected his winnings, he had an electronic tag on his leg. So, not that I judge anybody, but there's a certain way in which you have to show up in life for you to have to wear electronic tag. Never mind what the circumstances are. There's a way that you show up in life for that to happen.
Yeah.
5-6 years later, skint, flat broke, all his money gone. His only saving grace, and it wasn't much of a saving grace, is that he gave, I think it was £2 million to his girlfriend, and he gave £1 million to his uncle. Now he's skint now. He's got less money now than he had before he became a millionaire. From the last I heard, his girlfriend still had money. He hasn't got any. And even more tragically than that, his uncle topped himself, committed suicide. Incredible. Yeah. It's not money.
No, it's not the money.
Outer. It's inner. When you feel that sense of peace and calm, when you are able to be with yourself, be able to just look in the mirror and look at you and say, wow, I need that. When you can be fascinated just by looking at yourself and not dissatisfied because of the size of your stomach or the little piece of hair that you got on your head. When you can be satisfied with who you are and accept who you are and really become aware of who you are, then if there are things about it that you're not entirely happy with, you can actually transform them. Most people don't spend anything but 2 seconds, if they even do, look at themselves in the mirror. Most people. Which is why they are where they are. But the point, again, is when I work with my clients, one of the first things I do is get them to really be honest, open, and objective in a non-judgmental way about their life.
Right.
When you're honest about it and open and objective, and you do that non-judgmentally, you actually free up space from your ego.
Right.
You begin to separate yourself from your ego. And then you can hear your ego judging you because of your history, judging you because of your money, judging you because of how you think about yourself. But you can separate yourself from that now and recognize that's my ego judging me. It's not me. I really help my clients to do that. A couple of months ago, I was working with a young man, very, very, very powerful individual, doing really well on one level. On another level, not doing so well. So, for example, business thriving, money coming in, coming out, turnover. At home, things not so cool. Relationship issues. Now, what I explain to people is that it doesn't matter how brilliant you are at business, how academic you are, if you don't have a hold of some basic ideas around emotional intelligence, your marriage, your relationship with your wife, with your son, with your daughter, with the people who are in your life, are going to be difficult.
It can be difficult, yeah.
And it doesn't matter how clever you are. We don't separate IQ from EQ.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
So just quickly, business. If you want to go into business, you need to start going into yourself first. Dougie, give out my number, please.
Yeah, give it a number. Give it a number. Yeah.
In fact, let me give you my number right now. I hope you'll have got a pen and you're taking this down. 0796-140-6240. Mervyn Barrett.
Say your number again, Mervyn. Say it again, please.
0796-140-6240. Call me. I will offer you a free session, a complimentary session, 35, 45, even up to an hour of an opportunity to get some coaching. It's crucial. I'm a coach. I get coached. Hello?
Yeah.
It's taken me. It took me. Let me tell you something. It took me 15 years of failing at businesses before I recognized the power and the importance of having
a coach.
Another who can have you see what you're doing. Now, it takes a special kind of person to do that. It really does. Somebody who's trained to be able to hear what you're saying and not only not judge you, but reflect back to you what you said in such a way that you don't judge you.
Right.
It's the judging of ourselves that tears us down. That feeling of guilt, blame, shame stops us in our tracks.
Okay.
So we make a mistake and we kill ourselves.
Okay.
Mel, of course, what's that going to do? We're going to do it again.
Yeah. Okay, Mel, I just conscious that people try to phone in, and we do have Brenda inside the house as well. So
sorry.
No. But
don't get me started, man.
No, because I know he's a man who where I'm going to right about now. But I know he's a man very passionate when it comes to your thing about the mind and how the brain work and focus, etc. And this is what we want to hear from people like yourself, Mom. You know. So Melvin, we just have to just cut you here, right? Because people are burning to come in panel. We do have Brenda speaking on one or two issues around health and the mind, etc. See?
Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Please tell your listeners they do not have to live the way they are living. Life is a choice.
Yes.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
And we get that opportunity to make that choice of every second, of every minute, of every hour, of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year. We get an opportunity to make that choice.
Okay, Mervyn, give thanks.
Bless up, my brother. Thank you, Sister Brenda. Really appreciate your contribution, my sister.
Thank you.
Okay, that was a great man, Mervyn Barrett. Mervyn's a man, when him going to him in business, he gets really into it, and that's what we want. Anyway, Sister Brenda, I want if you just come in upon us now, because I know...
I thought you were going to... I thought there were some questions, but the listeners had some questions for him, no?
You want some questions you want to ask?
No. I thought the listeners had...
questions? No. You come in now. Because, is there anything you want to add to what's been said?
Not really, but I may touch on indirectly. I may touch on certain things indirectly.
All right, then, no problem.
Thank you.
All right, so what we do now is focus on what you come to talk about. So that is around the whole thing about the health and
there's a health event coming up on the 14th, Sunday. It was initially the Saturday, but for reasons beyond our control, it is now on Sunday. So the date for this health awareness event, and it's also about solutions, Sunday the 14th of August.
The 14th.
Yeah, it's presented by Sisters in Science, and the title of the event is called A Pan-African Her Story and Health Affair. The event starts at 4:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Free entry. There'll be African market and networking. Now, there'll be three main topics with a question and answer discussion panel. One of the topics, which is interestingly in the media at this moment in time, a report came out almost 2 weeks ago pertaining to vitamin D. So I will be, as Sister Brenda Lee, presenting on this topic, and the topic is called the Vitamin D Global Agenda and You. Now, I'm a regular speaker for vitamin D, except this particular presentation, I have tailored it. In such a way primarily for the African nation. Yeah? So, because, it is a huge topic, vitamin D.
Let me jump in.
Yeah.
What was it you have this thing with vitamin D? You seem to have a thing with vitamin D. What is this thing with vitamin D?
Well, what had happened, it appears that way, but it is not. It started from about 5 years ago, without thinking too much about it, when I went to my GP for something, can't remember what, and my GP suggested that I be tested for vitamin D, because we as African Caribbeans, we tend to be lower or deficient. So there's a concern there. What I found out after is that scientists are saying that the reason why we as Africans are more likely to suffer from various ailments, for example, the main diseases such as heart disease, cancer, diabetes, is because we are low or deficient. Sister Brenda Lee, as a scientist, saying that is not so. So anyway, that aside, I'll come back to that. I I had it tested. My vitamin D blood serum came back low, and it was suggested that I take supplements. I said to my GP, I'm just sharing this with you listeners. I'm not saying don't go and take any supplements. Just my journey as to how I've come to do presentations on vitamin D. I said no thanks, and then I said to my GP, can I put forward a hypothetical question to you? Now, if it's because we're living in a temperate climate and our skin is seen as a disadvantage, yes, the scientists see us heavy melanated people, our skin is a disadvantage because it's preventing the UV rays from penetrating our skin. Excuse me. Then in the tropical climate, those who are nearest to the equator, it stands to reason that their vitamin D levels would be high or optimum. Yes, Brother Dougie? Mm-hmm. Now, if that is the case, they should be less likely to suffer from ailments. But there's a serious increase of various diseases, heart disease, high blood pressure, cancer, diabetes, and the list goes on. Yeah. Now we know it's as a result of globalization, increase in processed foods, westernization, travel, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. So my GP said to me, I've made a valid point, why don't I go and do some research? But it wasn't so much because of that. It was a number of things. And as a result, my first presentation was at Battersea Library several years ago, and I just took it from there. But the reason why it's come up again is because on my journey as a health advocate, people, including my peers, i.e. health advocates, has been talking about it. It's come up again. And, you know, I because I've done research on this, I see things differently. In relation to what, you know, we had Brother Mervyn speaking about the mind, what people are not aware of is that the number one tool for mind control is science. Most people think, correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Dougie, that it's religion. Mm-hmm. But it is not religion. Mm-hmm. It is science. Mm-hmm. And let me see if I can give an example. Now, in the educational system, whereby our children and we're brainwashed, where we're conditioned, etc. We're told, or science tells us, materialistic science, that we have five senses. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In actual fact, we have more than five senses, and this is why I mentioned earlier on about science and spirituality, because historically the two were as one, and the two should be as one, and the two are as one in ancient traditions. But in the Western Hemisphere, the two has become separated. And I strongly feel that is because of disempowerment. Mm-hmm. They want to disempower us because the true and real power is the mind and the spirit. And the two are related. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So my business concept, or if I can say strapline, is where science meets ancient traditions. I combine the two when I do presentations, when I have clients, when I do workshops, etc., etc. When I do cook and eat workshops also.
You do, sorry?
Cook and eat. Cook and eat workshops, healthy eating. I combine the two. Okay. And an example of me saying that that science is number one tool for mind control is if you have a child. Let's just say a child, because there's adults as well. If you have a child and that child sees something or hears something beyond their five senses, yeah, you're concerned as a parent. You're so concerned that you'll take that child to, let's just say, the medical establishment. Mm-hmm. The medical establishment will more than likely Oh, I'm sorry. How far back? I've just been told the mic's been switched off. Okay, so sorry about that. I'll backtrack a little in terms of why I have said that the number one tool for mind control is science and not religion. Now, if you have a child and that child sees or hears beyond their five senses, for example, the child sees something but you don't see it, but you're concerned, and the child is sure they see something. Now, this goes on for some time. You take that child to see a doctor or the medical establishment. That child may be put on drugs, or that child may be locked up. Yeah, it happens to adults. It is real, and it is a concern primarily in the in the African Caribbean community. So we have a lot of our adults and youths in mental health institutions, and a part of that is because if science doesn't see it, feel it as evidence. Science is very much evidence-based. And this is where ancient traditions comes in. Even what is happening now in relation to this vitamin D, and what I'm hearing, and people are concerned, they're low, they don't realize that they're conditioned. They're conditioned to think a particular way. They worry, they're concerned, they're fearful. Yeah? So the senses we have, the see, the hear, the touch, etc. But even telepathy and reading people's minds, psychometry, levitation, these are all part of ancient traditions and sciences in terms of our senses. So this is where I'm coming from. If, for example, you go and tell someone that you see objects flying around, for example, yeah, and the medical establishment get to hear about that, they're gonna probably say you're what's the word? Hallucinating? Yeah, you're hallucinating. Yeah. So this is why I say what I say. Now with science, because the word in effect is knowledge based, but in the scientific Western sense, or the materialistic science sense, this is about one has a theory or an observation. You want to test that theory, so you devise an experiment. You devise the experiment, you have a method, you collect the results, you use statistics to make some sort of sense of the results, and you have a discussion and conclusion. But what the populace is not aware of, that a lot of the time they will say further research studies needed, or results prove inconclusive. You only hear about the results that do work or claim or appear to work. Yeah? Scientists used to think the world was flat, for example. We now know the world is round. They used to think fruit flies came from fruit, including Sister Brenda Lee, because one minute you got the fruit there, the fruit becomes ripe, and you see tiny flies flying on. Where does flies come from? Yeah? But fruit flies do not come from fruit. Now, to give an example of Western science is very much segregated. It's very much the reductionist and individualistic approach. It's compartmentalized. Whereas those who talk about holistic health, we interact and we integrate with the mind, the body, and the spirit. When it comes to health, it is not always about food, and it's what we define as food. The relationship is about ourself. The relationship we have with ourself, which is what Brother Mervyn touched upon. It is also our relationship with each other. How we interact with each other can have a positive or a negative, or perhaps a neutral effect on ourselves. Also, how we interact with nature. Yeah, this is ancient traditions. Nature is so beautiful that if we respect nature, which Western European science doesn't, because they want to dominate nature and have an authority over nature, Nature will speak and interact with us. In ancient traditions, even the plant, I mean, but you can't tell that to the doctor. Even the plant can speak to us and tell us if we were to go out into the woods or to the forest or into the garden. You need this plant for that. I'm not of that level yet, by the way, but I'm trying. You need that plant for this, and so on. And even the animals and the creatures. So this is what I mean when I talk about ancient traditions. Now, you have a supplement and you have a tomato. So this is the analogy I'm going to give you. The supplement lycopene is from the tomato. What Western science does, they want that active component to make, that, and they take it out, and then they derive a synthetic analog, and then they sell it back to you. And this is what you need to treat prostate cancer. So you take the supplement, and either it will work, may work partially, or don't work. But in a lot of cases, when they do drug trials with supplements, they don't work. Because is it the supplement? Is it the lycopene alone? No. It is the tomato. So this is where you have the whole. We have a relationship with the tomato. Yeah? It's how you relate with the tomato as to whether it's going to be beneficial for you, whether it's going to heal you. Yeah, the shape of the tomato is significant in ancient traditions. The color of the tomato. Here we have color therapists in alternative therapists, and also those who know about Reiki and different parts of the body or different organs of the body relate to colors. So the color is significant. You have various vitamins and minerals in a tomato. You have your vitamin E, you have your vitamin C, you have your fiber, etc. Yeah? So this is the tomato as a whole. But what science does, or materialistic science does, they take out one, which they think is the active component, and they use that. And this is why, there could be someone out there listening, you're taking the lycopene supplement and you wonder why it's not working. So I've just given you an example of the Western worldview of things and our worldview. We, unfortunately, are seeing things through their lenses and not our lenses. Do you want to step in there?
Yes. It's quite interesting because, you've given us our overview, the whole thing about the whole concept, how we view things from an African perspective and African center, so to speak, where the European look at things but turn upside down. And
compartmentalized, they're segregated.
That's right. Because we see things as a whole.
As a whole.
And it's interesting because, as you said in your presentation, we was able to communicate with the with nature, with the plants,
the trees,
etc. And because we embraced them, because they see them as one, right? And if people talk to a plant, or see some talk to a plant, people might say, "Child, that man or woman." I mad somebody, what am I doing, but then understand that, it's all about risk, because we're part of nature.
Of course.
We're part of nature. I remember Edison talk about, water, right? He says that you can't kill water, you can't destroy water, you can't take a gun and, it come out different kind of form, because we are part of water. We're part of the universe and everything.
Of course.
See? So it's a question really now, Brenda, is to overstand, right, and get back to our true self, that true connection with nature. Because I think that one of the things is that because we've moved so far from ourselves, right, because we moved so far from ourselves, we're so confused and bombarded with all kind of confusion, right? We lose sight of ourselves, and that's why we integrate a lot of illness and all kind of crazy things. Where like now we need to take a stack and start understanding ourselves, but tuning back to nature And I think that's where our journey, because we talk about spirituality, we're talking about really embracing nature as one. You know?
Yeah, and we are, even though some of us, an increasing number of us are talking about spirituality within holistic health, I observe we are still, and I understand that we are still reluctant to talk about it or embrace it because of how we have been conditioned and we're told to specialize. I don't know who came up with this. Is it a proverb? You know that you're jack of all trades and master of none, which is rubbish. You know, in ancient traditions, you can be jack of many trades and master of many trades, and this is what we should be moving towards. Yeah, it's this Western society whereby you need to specialize in something. Yeah, and it can have its problems. Now, what I'm trying to show family is to take control of your health and to empower your health and to see things from a different perspective rather than compartmentalization. Mm-hmm. So this is what the medical and scientific establishment have got you into. And this is why I say we're all, include myself, but I know it, we're all conditioned and indoctrinated. I gave an example whereby I was in the Caribbean a few years ago, and I was at a relative's home and I ate a mango. I wanted to throw the mango seed in the bin, so I'm looking for the bin. And the relative is telling me just to throw the mango seed outside into the garden. Now, you know the garden there is like a jungle. It's not like the concrete jungle over here. And I couldn't get past that indoctrinated mindset where I'm there looking for the bin. Mm-hmm. Not thinking, cyclic and biodegradable and it will disintegrate, whereas if you were to throw something in a park over there 1 week later it will still be there if it's not cleaned. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is part of my conditioning. Mm-hmm. Now I mentioned earlier on Dr. David Hamilton. Yeah,
who's Dr. David Hamilton?
He's a chemist. I mentioned him when I was but these are the people whereby I respect them for what they're doing, and they've moved away from scientific dogma that we can take responsibility for ourselves. So David Hamilton is one of them. So he goes around in a mind-body field in presentations, sharing platforms with Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra, etc. Yeah, and he used to work for the pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca. Another one who's a biologist is Dr. Bruce Lipton. Yeah, so he was seen as a bit of a maverick, and he loved looking at cells, so he got a microscope when he was a child, and what he saw that the organelles all worked collaboratively, if I can say that, they all work together as one within the cell. Mm-hmm. So he adopted and applied that approach, and when he taught his medical students in the Caribbean. Now those students were, one could say, rejects or cut-offs. Those students wouldn't ordinarily have gone into doing medicine had they gone through their traditional routes. Yeah. So initially he was exasperated. He saw it as a challenge, but the end result was that what he studied in terms of the cells, he applied that with his students. Mm. He noticed his students were working together, and you know what? Their medical results were far superior than those who went to Harvard, etc., etc. So what he saw was that, and this is what we need to apply, unity is strength, and there is strength in numbers. We need to work together as one for us to be a catalyst to propel ourselves, and stop empowering the Caucasians. We need and we can, if we can get together and and organise for this reparation march. We can move mountains. This is where Sister Brenda Lee is coming from. Another doctor who I would like to mention is Dr. Joe Dispenza, fantastic person who's in Mind, Body, Spirit. Again, he's moved away from traditional science. He's a neuroscientist, and he had serious back injury where he was able to heal himself. So again, going to Mervyn, the power of the mind, the power of the mind. And these individuals have realized that, I noticed they only say, I've met two of them. I haven't met Dr. Bruce Limpton, but I've watched his videos and I've read his book. Yeah,
he's online on YouTube.
I met Dr. Joe Dispenza in person, and
where did you meet him?
He came over here.
Okay, then.
He came over here. There's a fantastic organisation called Alternatives, alternatives.org, and there's a church. There's a church in Piccadilly Circus.
Yeah, I used to go down there.
And that's also where I met Malidoma Some.
Okay, then.
Yeah, that's also
so they have it like every Monday or Sunday. Is it every Monday?
There are talks. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, I remember I used to go there a few years ago.
Yeah,
when I first.
Fantastic. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, just Google alternatives.org. So it's about the alternatives and Mind, Body, Spirit, and they have renowned people coming from all over, not just from America. They do talks. It doesn't cost much for the talks, and also workshops as well. It can cost a little bit for workshops, but it's well investing in. It's well investing in these people, and investing in these people as in investing in yourself. Right. By the way, this is personal development. What they've come to show you and how we've come to contribute. Yeah. So with Joe Dispenza, I think with at least two of them, they have done Reiki. You know, they're into the holistic health. But as a scientist, you don't see that. You separate that. You don't have time for religion, so to speak. Yeah? Because how you've been taught or indoctrinated. But the true power lies with the self and spirituality. So this is where I'm coming from. And also, I'm going to show for the Vitamin D Global Agenda how scientists get together with pharmaceuticals and show you how they curate the decision-making process. And this is where we are lacking. Yeah, I have seen this thing evolve to the point where now they have a report out. So that's that one. The other topic is food growing and hybridization, and with that you learn about food techniques, plant growing, plant technology. Not all of it is GM as many people think. What's happening, how we need to take control, because unfortunately many of us don't have our own garden to grow foods and as in fruits and vegetables and herbs or an allotment. So Mama Dis is she has a wealth of information to share with the community, and her background is quite diverse. She has an agricultural background. She's worked in Africa. She's a community researcher, and she's a food growing activist. So that's one of the topics. And what in effect is hybridization. I have said that we're all products in the way of hybridization. It's where two things get together to form a third thing, if I can put it simplistically. Prophet Newton, the Honourable Coconut Man, otherwise known as the Coconut Man, who's a herbalist, he'll be giving you a natural approach to managing your hormones, and in particular looking at managing the liver and the kidneys. Yeah, so added to that is a question answer discussion panel with Stephen Sally of Mariandina and Vasco Stevenson of Black Health. So we're going to be talking about approaches, solutions, any discrepancies, any concerns, what's happening, and the way forward. So we'll endeavour to answer all your questions there and then with solutions. I also have in mind of building something so that we can do for ourselves and speak up for ourselves, rather than these European scientists and medical establishment making decisions on our behalf. And you know what? I don't blame them, because where are we? We're not there. We're not there. I was saying yesterday, there's the saying, there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians, which is a bit kind of politically incorrect. But what I see, I wouldn't say too many. I'd see there's a lot of health advocates, but where are the researchers? I'm one of the researchers, but there are not enough of us. We don't do research. And when people like myself do research, because I say something different, obstacles are coming in my way. I'm getting ridiculed, brother Dougie. And this reminds me of a little bit of Bruce Lipton, and I respect, Dr. Andrew Wakefield for what he went through in terms of the MMR expose. Unfortunately, I don't think he can practice medicine anymore. But what he said was correct. You see, what he says now, if I recall correctly, I believe he's residing in America, that there is a relationship between this MMR and autism. But look what the establishment did to him. We have to be strong. But what I've come across is, you can't say this and you can't say that and so on. Why not? Why can't I? You have to be strong. If you know you have a goal or a purpose and you see something right or wrong, I should say, we need to stand on our own and speak up. The ancestors will protect us. Spirit or the universe will protect us. But some of us don't want to lose X number of clients or lose our jobs, and we want to be in line with the status quo. And this is what Sister Brenda Lee has found on her journey. Now, the address of this event, or the venue, will take place at Positive Network Centre, Wakefield Hall, WAKEFIELD, Wakefield Hall, Taylor Road, TAYLOR Road, Taylor Road, Mitcham, CR4, Charlie Roger 4, Free Junior Roger, Free JR. It sounds far, but it's not. The nearest station is Tooting, British Rail. Tooting, walking distance from Tooting, alternatively Tooting Underground Broadway, Tooting Broadway. Then you get buses either 355, 270, 280, 264 to Figs Marsh, it's a cemetery. F for flower, IGGES, Figs Marsh, MARSH, then a 5-minute walk, or you can get the S1. For further inquiries and stalls, 07568 572 045, 07568 572 045. Alternatively, 07894 995 347, 07894 995 347. Email address info@intelligentnourishment.com. So for further inquiries, you can send an email, or if you want to request an e-flyer, info@intelligentnourishment.com.
Okay, then what time the event starts?
It starts at 4:30 to 9:30 p.m. Would you like me to continue?
Okay then. Okay, yeah, you can continue.
All right. Now, in relation to research, I have said that in relation to research and science is racist, science is sexist, and science has a history of eugenics. Now, in 1989, I was at a scientific conference, and they were talking about, they as in scientists, researchers, experts, AIDS. Now, I don't know if you can recall, Brother Dougie, I'm sure you can, as to what they were saying in relation to AIDS and where it came from. It came from Africa. Yeah? Do you remember that? So this is what they were literally saying in 1989, blaming African women and inferring that African women were being intimate, for want of a better word, with African green monkeys. Now, how do you think I felt as an African woman? As an African young woman, I should say, hearing this information in my ears. Years later, I'm the first to stand up and say something now, so I'm vocal now. And I understand the politics. I understand the problem with the framework they're using, and the methodology has its own limitations. Yeah? So we know that's not true. We know that was propaganda at the time. Yeah? So, I think about, I had, and I guess you did, had the honour of meeting the renowned Professor Charles Sally back then, and what he went through.
Yeah, I've never met. I don't think I've never met him. I always hear about him.
You didn't. Okay, you didn't meet him.
I never met him.
Well, I'm aware of what he went through when it came to the Ugandan government and the drug companies, and how they wanted him to. They wanted to buy his patent for the supplements, but he wasn't having it. He had an 80% success rate in treating those with HIV and AIDS. So I'm very much aware of the politics there, the economics and the agenda. Now, you see, I'm coming at this vitamin D from different angles, because I'm aware of the thalidomide experiment and what went wrong with the drug companies. And these companies, they knew of the side effects, just like the tobacco industry. But all they care about is money, and who cares about acceptable losses? Yeah? I'm also aware of the Tusker, I want to say G, but apparently it's G, the Tuskegee experiment. And they were compensating years later. That was unfortunate. I'm aware of the Guatemalan experiment when they were deliberately infected with syphilis. I'm also aware of they wanted to criminalize our brothers when there's a part in the brain called the, what's the word? I think it's the amygdala, where that part, according to them, was responsible for our brother's criminal behavior. And whatever you find hard to believe or hard to conceive, dear listeners, please go and do the research for yourself.
So where can I get information?
Well, all what I'm saying is on the internet.
On the internet, online.
Right?
Yeah.
The criminal behavior and black men in the brain. There's a bit in the brain called the amygdala. I think it's AMYGDALA. And you have the Tuskegee experiment, right? There's lots of information on that on the internet. You have the Guatemalan experiment, Guatemala and syphilis.
Okay, let me wind it back, because you said that that's quite interesting. You said that, and we need to. You said that there's certain is it a drug they use on on the our black men, turn them more criminal. What's
No. What they were saying is because people don't realize in science, unless you've gone through the system, unless you have a degree or a postgraduate degree in science, you may not. You may have an idea, but you certainly will understand. Yeah. What is going on when it comes to science and a scientific methodology. Now, with science, it's all about theory. But somewhere and somehow along the way, it becomes established as facts. And it's not always the case. Yeah? So, what the scientists were trying to do years ago, it's racist, but what they're saying is the reason why black men appear or seem to be criminalistic is because of a defective part in the brain.
Oh, defective part of the brain. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. The infairness is genetic,
Right,
but that's racism.
Right.
But that's racism.
Right.
And there's also racism in this vitamin D too. I mean, I looked at the report, and it's the recommendation has come out. It doesn't touch on any of what I'm saying. It's very generalized, by the way, and there's errors in it because it's not written by an expert. And it is just about recommendations in general for vitamin D supplements and recommendations for groups of people. If you're heavily melanated, if babies up until how many months, I can't remember the exact, but it's mothers and babies and toddlers and the elderly. But in relation to the elderly, hear the joke now. As you can see, I'm not reading anything, but it's just from the top of my head. This vitamin D. Now, first and foremost, a vitamin is a substance that's taken in small quantities from outside the body. Yeah? And it tends to be nutrients. So that's their definition when they discovered vitamins from parts of food with their crude experimentation, which I will not go into at this moment in time. Vitamin D, by their definition, is not a vitamin. It is more of a hormone, yet they still decide to call it vitamin D. And this is where the confusion lies. Yeah? It was asked of me yesterday as to, the sources of vitamin D. Is it the sun, or is it supplements, or is it the food? Right? What the scientific and medical establishment is saying, it's a combination of all three. However, what they want you to do is to rely and to take the supplements. Now, where I am coming from, if I can give you my opinion, if it is a hormone, then we get it. I don't even like to say vitamin D. This substance that shines on our skin and has a biochemical effect. It's from the sun. We also get it indirectly from plants. Yeah, if the sun is going to shine on plants. Now, I have done experiments on myself whereby my vitamin D levels do not go up when I try very hard in terms of consuming vitamin D rich foods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me jump in here because we probably have to do a whole show on everything vitamin D, right? But there's a reason why I'm saying this. I'm coming. Yeah, no, but just because people are going to lose you.
Okay.
Out there listening out there, but just to give it some, I'm going to go by Dr. Africa anyway, right?
Okay.
And what he says that vitamin D is produced from the liver, right? For what Dr. Africa has said. So when we're talking about the sun, right? Because yes, from what Lay Africa said, that yes, you do get vitamin D, but it's really produced from the liver.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah,
we're saying the same thing. Dr. Lay Africa supports me in my research. We have layers on that one because he has confirmed the problem is the scientific methodology. That's their problem. Yeah, but where I'm coming from with the food, it discriminates against vegans. You know, you have your fish oil, your butter, your cheese. I don't know if anyone has challenged them, and I've known for some time, from several years ago, when it comes to nutrition, science and medicine, they're pro meat, egg and dairy, right? Because I can remember the traditional years ago, the dietitians back then, and you know, I had one come into my class when as a nutritional student, whereby when someone asks about vegans, now they saw vegans as special dietary requirements, but even to the point of special needs indirectly, you know, and the way they're not like that now because they've come a long way. But this is how they treated people who were vegans, believe it or not. Yeah, and it's not so much the dietitians; it's the system and what they were taught and how they were taught. Yeah. Now, in relation to the elderly, before I forget, the recommendation is saying that elderly need to take vitamin D supplements. Okay. Why? They don't go out. They don't have access to the sun. What they failed to tell you is that as we get older, this substance decreases with age. So
what decreases age?
This vitamin D in our body, in our system. Yeah. So it is hormonal like. It decreases with age. Now, those of us who are into holistic health, who think outside the box, if you want to manage and take care and heal your bones, right? You're going to want to or need to exercise your bones, yeah? The bone is a living tissue. You need to exercise it. Exercise is important. Breathing is important, yeah? Nutrition is important, which fails most nursing care homes, yeah? Getting out there in the sunlight is important, which how many of our elderly residents are active? So the point I'm making is, what is the point and how is taking supplements, vitamin D supplements, going to help the elderly? Well, I can tell you now, it is not. And when I said that, several months later, a report came out that giving vitamin D supplements to the elder doesn't make any difference. Yeah? So this is what is happening. So a lot of this information is what I would like to share with the community and to empower, and if time permits, show you what is going on. And if not, I will do another presentation on science, which was well received between myself and Mama D. We did put one years ago on science and what science meant to different people. And it's about taking control and empowering ourselves. So one cannot divorce science from nutrition and medicine, because this is where it starts. We are not thought leaders. We are not even thinking of being involved in decision making. And this is where the problem lies.
Okay, what we'll do now, we're going to have a short break and then we will open up the live link for those who want to ask a question. And those who got business out there, please phone in and let people know about your business. Yes, opportunity for those to promote themselves and let them know what they're about.
so I can say, sha-la-la-la, love you. Oh, sha-la-la-la, thinking of you. Oh, I know you can tell what's on my mind, baby. I've been feeling this way for such a long time. Yeah, baby. Oh, make it happy, baby. Oh, make it happy. I'm gonna tried and this feeling just won't die. Oh, sha-la-la, make you cry. Sha-la-la-la-la, oh baby. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, oh baby. I've been gone so long, I don't know what to do, oh baby. And I know you don't know all I've been going through, baby. Make me happy, baby, so I can say, sha-la-la-la, love you. Oh, sha-la-la-la, thinking of you. Oh, I know you can tell what's on my mind, baby. I've been feeling this way for such a long time. Yeah, baby. Oh, make it happy, baby. Oh, make it happy. I'm gonna tried and this feeling just won't die. Oh, sha-la-la-la, make you cry. Yeah, something that just gets down in your bones, baby. Once I see you, I can't leave your love alone. Yeah, baby. Oh, make me happy, baby. Oh, make me happy, baby. Let me sing. Sha-la-la-la-la, baby. Oh, let me sing. Sha-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la, oh baby. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, oh baby. I've been gone so long, I don't know what to do, oh baby. And I know you don't know all I've been going through.
Yeah, as I said, she got an event was taking place
Make me happy,
on the 14th of August. So, you know, Should we get some more information about that that's taking place in Mitchell? Okay then. So if anybody want to phone in, because I know that Sister Marnie is going to touch down with us, and I just spoke to Sister Grace. She didn't know she's tuning in, and she wants to touch and ask some questions if we get some time. Yep, because a lot of information has been said so far. And also, I want people to know about the event was taking place on the 27th of August 2016. It's on a Saturday, and we're working as a group in association with Find Your Voice presents Building a Community. This is taking place at the Parkview Academy, which is on West Green Road, London, N15 3RB. And we have Sister Juliet speaking about the event earlier on. And we have some esteemed individuals like Leo Mohammed. We have what's her name? Sister Stanford, Esther Stanford, you know, who is waving the flag for reparation. You know, we have so many different individuals there. It's going to be a powerful event. I encourage ones-on-ones to make sure. In fact, it's going to be a good event. It's going to be packed. In fact, so and the time is from 4 to 8. So I encourage you to get there for about 3:30. And yes, Eventbrite, and get to go Eventbrite. We'll have some tickets. For more information, for people involved in the press, if want more information, please contact me, which is 0788 240 3871. Just run up just my right number for a minute. Also 07960 239 493. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ask Sister Brenda, please let people know about the event was taking place on the 14th, and where people can get more information, etc. Yes, Sister Brenda, come true.
Okay, a Pan-African hair story and health affair. Right, so this is the title of this event. It's a health awareness event with empowerment and solutions. The date is Sunday the 14th of August 2016. Entry is free. Starts at 4:30 p.m. ends at 9:30 p.m. There were stalls available. The first topic, although not necessarily in that order, is the Vitamin D Global Agenda and You, Racism, Opportunism and Dependency. This will be presented by myself, Brenda Lee speaking. Another topic of interest will be food growing and hybridization. Should we eat or should we not eat certain foods? Is it a cause for concern or evolvement? Will be presented by Mama D, who is a food growing activist and a community researcher. The next speaker is the Honourable Prophet Newton, also known as the Coconut Man, who is a herbalist. He'll be talking about a natural approach to your hormones, including organs such as the liver and the kidney, managing your liver and kidney. Also, will be question and answer discussion panel, including Stephen Sally and Vasco Stevenson. The event will take place at Wakefield Hall. Positive Network Centre is a charity, so it's Positive Network Centre, Wakefield Hall, Taylor Road, Taylor Road, which is off Victoria Road next to Figmarsh Cemetery. So Positive Network Centre, Wakefield Hall, Taylor Road, Mitcham, CR4 3JR. The nearest station is Tooting British Rail, and the nearest underground is Tooting Broadway. Buses 355, that's public transport if you're taking public transport. 355, 270, 280, 264. Bus stop is Figmarsh, Figges, Figmarsh. Then 5-minute walk, or one can get the bus S1.
Oh.
For further inquiries, 07568 572 045. 07568 572 045. Alternatively, 07894 995 347. 07894 995 347. Email info@intelligentnourishment.com. info@intelligentnourishment.com. Thank you, Dougie.
Okay then, give thanks. So that's taking place on the 14th. Yeah, so nothing's going on about the place. And don't forget, Stay Green is having an event at Tottenham Green Leisure Centre, Jamaica Independence. Dance, one of the biggest dance probably. Definitely on that day there. It'll be a big function, so encourage people to come out for that. Okay then, we've got literally about 5 minutes left. Everybody want the phone, you have to phone in right now. So the number is 07960 239 493 if you want to phone in and ask a question or talk about your business. As I said, the next 3 or 4 weeks we'll be touching on things about finance, business. Also, we're going to have someone next week talking about if you're the first time buyer, you want to buy your own house. He will take it by your steps. You can read to us, the procedures you need to take. So yeah. Now we got about 5 minutes left, Brenda. So Brenda, let people know how you find the march Monday, the reparation. How do you find everything, the vibes?
I didn't march. I didn't march. I marched the first year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't march the second year. Because for a number of reasons. I saw a flyer where, and that flyer said Kennington. Anyway, moving forward,
because I saw you at Brixton, so you wasn't march. You didn't go to the march, no?
I didn't go to the march.
Okay,
I was at Brixton, yes. I stopped off in Windrush Square.
Okay.
And I did what I needed to do and spoke and lies and helped out there.
Okay then.
But I didn't march.
Okay.
And,
so how do you find the vibes at Windrush? Was it called Windrush?
Windrush Square, yeah. The vibes was beautiful, considering it rained.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Yes, well organised.
There's a lot of work as well. You can see
a lot of work came into fruition this year. A lot of work was involved this year. One of my main concerns is, I don't know what it is with us and online petitions. We're lacking there.
So no people
so please, I will implore the listeners to go out to sign.
So they need about 50,000?
They need, if I recall correctly, it's 10,000.
Is it 10,000?
10,000 signatures. please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 10,000.
Okay, someone will
For
correct
it to
us.
be discussed and debated in the comments.
I think that was 10,000. So 10,000, I wouldn't say it's nothing, but I thought that.
10,000 is not a problem is not a problem for us, but it seems to be a problem when it comes to online signatures.
So, well, no, the 10,000 has to be online, you're saying?
I know there are physical papers. I could be wrong, but my understanding is 10,000 online signatures. I could be wrong.
Okay,
So please correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah. All right then. No problem. Okay then. So we're going to bring this to a close. Again, we want to thank Sister Brenda for coming on our busy schedule to be with us and to share some information. As she said, she's got a wealth of information and knowledge. So Brenda, we give thanks to you and your hard work.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you to the listeners listening in.
Okay, good, thanks.